Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. And we are getting started here. Just looking at my audio stuff over here on this side, make sure it's good. Also, as I said in the previous session, um, any buffering issues you might have, I've already contacted Crowdcast. They've been looking into it. The usual thing, if you lose audio, lose video, whatever, refresh. If it doesn't work and you're watching this at work, it might be your internet there. IT might have it locked down, or if you're at home, you might have too many devices hooked up onto your Wi-Fi or something. But other than that, the good thing is that the videos on replay have not recorded any of those buffering issues, which is good. So it's probably just some internet BS that's going on, which sucks. But either way, this is what happens. This can happen, but it has been really good. There's been a lot of good stuff going on. I'm excited for our next speaker here, Ella. She's going to be talking about work-life balance in the PSAP, breaking the burnout cycle. Without further ado, Ella, take it away.
Hi, so this is absolutely terrifying, but we're going to go with it. It's fine. So, welcome. This is supposed to be fun. I know for a lot of us, this is either post-lunch or during lunch or whatever. But trust me, it's going to hopefully keep you all energized and be fun. Because burnout is not fun. Oh, gosh. See, cheering me on already. Okay, so work-life balance in the PSAP, breaking the burnout cycle. I created this because I sat through so many trainings about, are you burned out? Yes, I'm burned out. That's fantastic. Here's a checklist of how you can show whether or not you're burned out. Cool. I'm burned out. What do I do? It got incredibly frustrating, and I kind of found my own way. And that I want to help you find your way. So who am I? Who am I? I am a line level dispatcher for 8 years. I am not a supervisor. I am not a director. I am bottom tier. I'm barely a CTO. I've been doing this for about 8 years with the University of Nebraska Police Department. We're kind of a unique agency because for the most part, I have about 30,000 people in my jurisdiction. 9 times a year, that bumps up to about 90,000 when you factor in football. So we have kind of a weird dynamic going on. I am a very, very data-driven person. I like information. I know that's probably super shocking being in this industry and loving information, but that's me. So everything I do involves lots and lots of reading and research and digging and doing all the things. I'm also a mom. I have 2 beautiful, incredible, amazing little girls that I love with all my heart. And my goal is to always, they're my priority. My job, I love my job. But if I can't take care of my kids, my job is pointless. I am someone who has burned out too, probably 3 times while doing this job. 8 years, burnout is super cyclical, right? We know the patterns. We read about it. We hear about it. We're constantly told about it, and it's incredibly frustrating. And it's happened to me 3 times. Probably the worst was after I had my youngest daughter. I had severe postpartum anxiety, and I didn't know what to do. I knew that something wasn't right. I knew that something had to change, but I didn't know how. I'm also a meme enthusiast, so please understand my jokes. I know I can't see you guys, but if you could laugh in the comments, that would make me feel so much better. This is supposed to be fun. I am also absolutely stressed out. If you can't tell, I'm incredibly jittery and talking probably way too fast. But this job brings a whole lot of stress. Life brings a whole lot of stress. Everything kind of just piles on top of us. Yes, all the memes. And it's fine. It's fine, right? We're fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, so who are you? This presentation was created for line level dispatchers, but it also applies to the supervisors and the directors and the IT people and everything, because we all go through the same stuff. We are all reactionary caregivers. That's kind of what a dispatcher is, right? When people come to us, or people are constantly coming to us and they say, I need help. And we do it. Like, we do the things, but we only do the things when people come to us. We love to help. And because we like to help, everyone is always coming to us. Always. Real life, while working in telecommunications, is really hard because people know that they can come to us. It's not just at work either. Like, we go home and our neighbors know, hey, something's weird. I'm going to go ask Ella. Like, ooh, that was kind of like, there was this guy who was looking at my car and it was weird. What do I do? Our neighbors had, like, one of my neighbors is one of my best friends, and she comes to me all the time. She's like, my kid is doing this. What do I do? And I'm like, dude, I'm winging this. Like, but that's how we function, right? Like, people come to us, we react. You need help? I'm on it. That's what I do. Um, but it makes everything so hard because try dating in telecommunications. Hey, hon, when are you free? Oh, baby, I am never free, but let's figure this out. Not being around your kids is hard because, hey, mom, I have roller derby. Can you take me to roller derby? Sorry, I have to work overtime. Even taking care of ourselves gets really hard because it's like, hey, I need to eat real food. I have not eaten real food all day. I can microwave something, but are the things we're microwaving necessarily the best for us? Is the stuff that we're throwing in our lunch boxes, is it chips? Is it crackers? What kind of food do people even bring for us? Like, I have some cops that really like to bring us pizza. Pizza's not good food, but we have to eat, right? Maintaining a healthy marriage is hard for those of you who are married or were married or anything like that. Like, when are you supposed to have a date with your spouse if you've been at work or you've had this day where you just want to scream because people, job security, man. But it's really hard to go home and you can't talk to your family about all the intricacies about what you saw. Like, you can't. It's the nature of the job. We can't talk about it. But then when you already have that huge wall in communication, how are you supposed to support your marriage? It didn't work for me. But I feel like the biggest brick wall that we run into is taking care of ourselves. When I get home from work, sometimes I go in at 3 o'clock in the morning, like, yay, let's go home. And now we have to be super mom or super dad or even just a functional human being. And hey, you know what comes with being a functional human being? You have to eat, you have to exercise, you have to sleep. Okay, you don't have to sleep. There are ways around that. I'm kidding. Don't listen to anything I say about sleep. It's fine. It's fine. But how do we keep doing it? I'm dead, I survived, but I'm dead. We develop resiliency, which is something that that gets talked about a lot, right? Like, we all hear, like, you have to be resilient, but what is resiliency? I Googled this. Resiliency, according to Google, is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness. Cool. Cool, I can be resilient. I can bounce back, right? Like, all the time. Fine. Fine. I'm going to touch on this. I know it's something that's talked on a lot, but it's important to understand like, what resiliency is in order for us to move forward about the stuff. So what is resiliency really? Being knocked down, not knowing if you can get back up. It's that day where everything falls to pieces in your hands and you just want to lay in bed with a pillow over your head and scream or cry or do absolutely anything besides be a functional human being. But you fix your ponytail, adjust your glasses, fix your outfit, do whatever you have to do, and you keep going. You don't stop. Even when the world seems to be screaming at you to just stop, Nothing's going to go right. But if you're resilient, you don't. How do you do that? Well, work-life balance, which is really kind of the whole point of what I'm talking about today. Jazz hands. More jazz hands. Even more jazz hands. Because work-life balance is super duper incredibly important in what we do. So important. You have to have it. You have to have work-life balance, but you work in a center. So, work-life balance. Yeah. Yeah, that's a thing. Super thing. Finding room for this balance can be super hard as we work schedules that we don't even know. Like, am I getting off at 3 o'clock today or am I getting off at 7 o'clock today? It's a mystery. It's a mystery. We might think I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. It's fine. Everything's fine, right? We work non-traditional schedules. It's fine. We work more than 8 hours. It's fine. We worked forced overtime. It's fine. We deal with everyone else on their bad days. But it's fine, right? And we go home mentally and emotionally taxed because we've been dealing with everyone else. So you think you don't need it. You swear you don't need it. But without it, you burn out. And that doesn't fix anything at all because when you're burned out, you're a puddle, right? Can't help anyone if you can't do it yourself. When you're burned out, it's worse for everyone. So, what can you achieve by finding this balance, figuring out this mystery, super, super complicated mystery? Well, you have better health. You get sick less. You have fewer implications of long-term stress, all that heart disease, your hair falling out, gray hairs, which I'm trying to embrace my gray hairs. It's fine. It's fine. With the balance, you're more productive overall. You get more done when you're at work, like creating presentations. You get more done when you're at home because you're not so tired all the time. You can enjoy your job again because we all love what we do, but we don't always love it in the moment, right? You can have me time. I know. It's shocking. Me time? What's me time? Me time is the time when I'm asleep, right? Is that why I don't sleep? You can also eliminate the feeling of FOMO, always missing out, which sucks when your friends are like, oh, look, I forgot to click. And your friends are like, hey, let's go do this. No, introvert problems. But how do you do this? Like, it seems like it's impossible because you're like, oh, I want to do the things. Like, this is amazing. This sounds super duper fantastic. But it's impossible. Like getting your cat to stop doing ratchet stuff all the time. You create realistic boundaries. Now, I need to preface this because the last time I did this presentation, I had some supervisors and some directors sending me some text messages going, but policy. Okay, so with policy, remember everything within your agency's guidance and approval. But if you're a supervisor and a director and anything I'm about to say goes against your department policies, remember policies are designed to be changed. Policies are not carved in stone. If anything, they're written in blood. So you have to create realistic boundaries if you want work-life balance. And in order to do that, you have to define for yourself what balance looks like. Balance is going to be different for everyone. You have to prioritize tasks and events at work and at home. Sometimes work comes first. Sometimes home comes first. If I have the opportunity to take a really cool training, but I also have Cub Scouts that night, I am pretty much always going to choose the really cool training. Does that mean I don't value the time with my children or learning how to camp? No. But it means that I have to prioritize. I have to pick what I want. And it really is at the end of the day about what I want. You have to include time to do nothing in your boundaries. Doing nothing is doing something. If you text me on a Saturday and you ask what I'm doing, and I say nothing, that does not mean that I want to do something. It means that I might possibly be doing nothing. And that's okay. And you have to remember no is a complete sentence. We tell this to people all the time. Like, at least I tell this to people all the time. It's okay to say no. Like, no is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain to people why it's a no. Saying no is okay. Completely acceptable. And that's supporting yourself by giving yourself the freedom to say no. Okay. And you've created your boundaries. Fantastic. You know you want that balance. So you've created the boundaries. And now comes the part that some of us, me, are not great at. And that's enforcing those boundaries. If your priorities mean you need to use a sick day, use a sick day. You are no use to people if you are crying because your cat died. You are no use to people if your mental health is not in a place where you can help. We go in every day and we have to be our best. We have to be. We aren't given that choice to have an off day. So if you need to use a sick day, use a sick day. Now, again, if your policies say mental health doesn't count for sick, maybe reevaluate your policies. I'm going to get some text messages here in a minute. If you need to miss an event because it means you'll be at home, but it means that you'll be part of something worthwhile at work, that's okay. I don't always have to put my family first. I can put my job first because that's balance, right? Like, we work in the kind of job where sometimes we're just not going to be there, and that's okay. If your schedule isn't working, talk to your supervisor. I have been in this industry for 8 years. I have talked to all kinds of different people about all kinds of different schedules to see what works and what doesn't. And there are agencies, and I feel heartbroken that this is even a thing, but they rotate shifts every 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks, they go from days, 3 weeks later, they're on evenings, 3 weeks later, they're on overnights. If that doesn't work, talk to your supervisor, because if everybody is just sitting there sad and miserable and tired with these messed up sleep schedules all the time, it's probably not just a you problem. And you can't expect your bosses to fix something if nobody's told them. Now, be respectful and polite. And again, policies and procedures and all of that is just kind of a thing that we have to accept and move along with. But communication is key here. This is another one that I feel like we all struggle with. I personally see every 28 days. I don't understand that. Like, it takes longer than 28 days for your sleep schedule to adjust. And no, thank you. Like, take care of your people. Okay. Anyway, sorry, distracted. Okay. So it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. You don't have to smile and say it's fine, because sometimes it's not fine. And that's at work when you take that call, and that's at home when you just can't. Burnout is a cycle. You go from okay to meh, not okay. And it's okay to hit that point. And that's when you have to go back through and check again. What are my boundaries? Am I enforcing my boundaries? What can I do to get through this little hump right now? And sometimes it's just admitting to yourself, that I'm not okay. And that has always been one of the hardest things for me because we always want to pretend like everything's okay and peachy keen, everything's perfect, even though it's not. And it's okay. Most of all, when you enforce your boundaries, you do you, honey boo. My boundaries are my boundaries. As long as I'm not disrespecting someone else's, like, does it matter if I say doesn't fit with what I want and what I need right now? Because it's okay if you do that too. That's how more balance. Okay. Now, with that, raise your hand if you've ever been victimized. If you've ever been personally victimized by a coworker calling in sick, I created this meme myself. I'm a little proud of it. Um, Once you come up with your own boundaries and you learn how to enforce your boundaries, it kind of helps it click that your coworkers might have those boundaries too. And you have to work as a team and you have to respect theirs so they can respect yours. It all goes hand in hand. Okay, so you have your boundaries, you know what they are, and you know how you're going to enforce them, which is fantastic. It still doesn't solve the problem as to how you're going to achieve that balance because you know what your boundaries are. You kind of got what you want, you kind of don't. We're working there. So, the next step in beating this burnout cycle is having something to work towards, some kind of goal of what you want in your life, where you want to head, all of that. And your goals can be anything. Oh, wait. Maybe don't spend so much time on Imager. Like, okay. Anyway, distracted. Whoosh. This is me. I'm always working towards something new. I'm always moving forward. And that's what your goals are going to do. They're going to keep you moving forward because how can you get over that hump if you have nothing on the other side of it? Goals are how you do that. But you're already overloaded, you say, with work and family obligations and all of the things. And you have your boundaries to get your work and your family stuff done. But then you want something for you. You need something for you. Thank you. Please sing all my memes. It's fine. How do you do this? Being a dispatcher is hard. It's hard. We know it's hard. We know we have all the things all the time, and we sometimes even forget to breathe. But you have to pick what part do you want to be less hard? Do you want to do an activity with your kids once a week? There's your goal. Do you want to learn how to meal prep so you can eat real food even on a 12-hour day? Goal. Take a class in ice sculpting. I don't judge your goals. Lose that dispatcher weight. I work for a university. We talk all the time about the freshman 15, but we never quite mention the dispatch 5-year 50. Guilty. You can learn to two-step. I probably will never do that, but you do you. You can watch all 7 seasons of Game of Thrones. I originally wrote this presentation in 2019. There are only 7 seasons of Game of Thrones, and I refuse to believe otherwise. Run a marathon? I ran 2 half marathons this year, but you can also just run around the block if you don't hate yourself as much as I do. You can go on a date with your spouse and reconnect 3 times a month. That's not really that much. You can take a college class. You can have a scheduled game night with your friends. You can become a serial killer. Oh, wait. Maybe not so much that one. You can watch a serial killer documentary. Do that one, maybe. We might think about murder, but let's not actually do it. Pick which part you want to be less hard and then decide where you want to go with it. That sounds amazing! But I'm still tired and I have no time, remember? Like, I have no time. It's fine. It's fine. You have to make time. I really wish this was bigger because it's really deep and profound and amazing. But it's basically this person talking about this other person who was like, how do you do all the things? How do you juggle all the balls? And the answer is sometimes you pick and choose what balls are okay to fall. And then it goes back to the balance and the boundaries that I was talking about earlier, where, okay, this week, the roller derby ball falls. I can't take my daughter to roller derby because I have to work. And that's okay. That ball doesn't shatter when I drop it. You know what ball does shatter when I drop it? My mental health. So it's okay. It's okay to let things go so you can hold on to the things that are really important and really matter. You deserve your own bubble. You deserve your own bubble. You deserve your own space. And if that means that the things that don't really matter, the things that are for everybody else and aren't for you and have no meaning to you except for the fact that you're doing it for other people, if that stuff goes away, then I mean, is it really the end of the world? Is it really significant for other people to have to figure their own stuff out for 1 minute? Just 1 minute, figure your stuff out. You deserve your time. You deserve your balance. You deserve your goals. You deserve all the things you want, because those are the things that are going to bring you back when you realize you are at the top of that hill and you don't know how to get over this burnout, and you're faced with the choices of walk away with your middle fingers held high or power through and be resilient. You just have to like persevere, like, and the way you're going to do that is by having your own space, your own mental area to like escape, because you deserve it and you have earned it. You have spent so much time and such a huge part of your life doing everything for everyone else. You deserve your own bubble. I'm going to say the thing that's going to make everybody angry. It always makes everybody angry, but I am just a dispatcher. That doesn't mean that a dispatcher is just this one thing. It means that I'm just a person. I'm a person that does a job that is very, very hard. I am not this crazy mental health advocate who has done a whole bunch of research and reading and like digging and looking for all the data. I'm just a person who has been through this 3 times. Because even though I know what to do, that doesn't mean that I don't have to take a step back and reevaluate and do it for myself. And I'm not like, so we've gone over all this stuff and it's fun and it's funny and it's fantastic. And then like, it's really easy to stare at these presentations, and like a lot of people here are fantastic and they know what they know. And I feel like I'm not always like a little bit of imposter syndrome. I'm not necessarily that person. I'm talking from experience. I'm talking because I've been there. And I have used these things to help get me through to the next step. And now I'm going to show the picture that I did it. I set my goals. I was burned out. I had gained all the weight. I had eaten badly. I had not taken care of myself. I put all my energy into everyone else. And I was broken, completely broken, not the same person I used to be. And I set my goals. And so my goal constantly was changing. My original goal was I wanted to lose that 50 pounds. I've lost well over that, but it started out with one goal. I want to lose the weight. I want to be the hot sister. Like, that's what I want. Like, I want to be the hot sister. And from there, I realized that hey, when I make that space for myself, when I care about what I'm doing for me, I'm better. I hate running. I am the angriest runner ever, but I ran a half marathon twice this year. I ran 2 half marathons because I found that time that I set aside for myself allowed me to, yeah, I'm in a gym, on my home gym, like watching TV on a treadmill, but I allowed one ball to fall. I picked my ball, and that was allowing my kids to be on their tablet probably more than they should, playing Minecraft, playing Roblox, whatever. Take your stuff for an hour and leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'm going to run on my treadmill. And while running on my treadmill for that hour with whatever on in the background, that's my time to mentally decompress. It's my time to put myself first. It's my time to remind myself that I matter. Not everybody's goal is going to be weight loss. Not everybody's goal is going to be to run a marathon. Not everybody's, your goals are not going to be the same as my goals. And my goals, even now, are constantly changing because every time I hit that hill of burnout and I don't know what to do and I don't know how to go on, and I'm given the choice between whether I want to quit or whether I want to try and bounce back and have that resiliency, then I change my goals. My goal's not working for me. I've lost track sight of that goal, then I'm going to change it. It's going to constantly be evolving. And that's what I want for you guys too. I want you to see that you don't have to be stuck. Because when you're stuck, everything around us falls apart because everybody's relying on us for, well, everything, and at home and at work. So my goals aren't the same. But every time I read the stuff, I do the stuff. I think about what I've gone through and what I've done and what I've heard and what I've seen. And it's made me better. It's made me a better. Setting goals helps me. No, so here's the thing. I'm going to sidetrack to answer this comment because pushed away the bag of chips or the piece of chocolate. Nope, let me tell you, before I did this, I was eating a Lindt chocolate bar that I stole from my daughter's candy. Why? Because I still eat everything I want. I just eat less of it and I move more. But again, it's everything. Everything in my life comes back to needing that balance. I cannot go without carbs. I can't. I just have to eat less of them. I'm 4'10". I'm the size of a 12-year-old. So I'm not like, you just have to figure out what works for you, which is why everybody's goals are going to be different. But it doesn't matter what your goal is as long as you have something to like go towards. But anyway, sorry, distractions. Setting my goals help me set my boundaries. I realized that when I don't have that hour of me time at night to run, to meditate, to do whatever I needed to do, I wasn't my best. And when I'm not my best at home, I'm not my best at work, I'm not my best for anybody. Wrong button. And from there, all of a sudden, when you have your goals, you're working towards them, you have something to look forward to. I look forward to my hour a night. Like, why am I going to cook dinner quickly? Why am I going to get the dishes done quick? Why am I going to say no to that not mandatory overtime? Because I need something to look forward to. I need something. You need something. And as I had my own goals set and my own boundaries and my own everything, it made me aware of my coworkers' boundaries too. I hate going in at 2 a.m. I am a day shifter. So usually I go in between 5 and 7 o'clock in the morning. 2 a.m. is my breaking point. 3 a.m. is my preferred. If I have to work half of an overnight shift, I would much rather work at 3 a.m. than 2 a.m. But I also learned that my coworkers have their boundaries too. If it's an evening shift person, sometimes they just can't do 3 a.m. And so I have to respect their boundaries. They have to respect mine. We come to an agreement. And when you have your own boundaries and you learn and respect what theirs are, you're such a better team. So some of this stuff that I've talked about, some of the like directors and supervisors and all that, like they might look at this and be like, oh, but but this teamwork thing, like you can't have all your own stuff. Like we are a team. Yes, absolutely. But as a team, you have your people who love the money from working on Christmas. You have the people who love having time off on Christmas. And congratulations, your boundaries just made you a strong team, because their boundary is, if I'm going to do it, I want the money. And their boundary is, I don't really want the money. So it really, by working together and having this all set up in advance, like, everybody talks and communicates. We work in communications, and somehow that part gets dropped a lot, is the communicating with each other. But a good mix of people, good mix of personalities, and you're going to have boundaries that fit for everyone as long as they know what they are. And if you know your boundaries, then you're going to be much more open to respecting other people's as well. I have not met my goals. They're still kind of changing. I'm trying to decide now. I've run 2 half marathons. Do I want to improve my half marathon time? Do I want to really, really aggravate myself and try and run a full marathon? Do I want to lose more weight? Do I want to lift weights? I don't know. I don't know what my goals are going to like. Like, they're constantly changing. They're constantly moving and evolving. I haven't met any one goal because they're constantly changing, and that's okay. I'm not a better dispatcher. Okay, I probably am a little bit better than when I'm like super burned out and angry at the world and ready to quit. But as far as like the work I do when I go to work, I am top on my game. I care. I care. It's why I want to keep doing this. I don't want to walk away ever. I don't want to be a supervisor. I don't want to do anything because I love what I do so much. My coworkers don't love me more. In fact, some of them might hate me because sometimes I bring healthy food. I'm sorry, guys, but it's better for you. They also think I'm crazy, and because, hey, positive vibes, let's go, woo, 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 team. Making myself better didn't necessarily make them love me more, but that's okay. I'm happier, and that's what matters. Like, I'm not miserable around myself. I'm not miserable around, like, I can play with my kids. I can, oh, like, at the end of the day, we are the caretakers. We are the ones, like, if it wasn't for us, what would our cops and our firefighters and all those people do? Drive around with like their woolies going, like looking for people to help? If you're not happy, you're not going to stay in an industry. If you're not happy and you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to help other people. And that's kind of the thing. It's kind of important. And I'm happy that I'm happier. And I feel like the other people in my life are probably happy that I'm happier too. Much easier to deal with. Okay, I talked way too fast. Sorry. This is like the last thing I really wanted to touch on. This is a question that was asked to me by a really good friend in the industry. He and I were talking, and it was just random work talk, and this question came up, and it was, how many lives have you saved? And me being me, I absolutely brushed it off. I'm like, I am a university police department dispatcher. I don't do medical. I have never done CPR. I will never deliver a baby. I have never saved a life. And he shut me up so fast, like gave me whiplash. Because no, that is not true at all. Because again, what are the wooies going to do if we're not answering the phones? How? Like, it's so easy to say, I've never saved a life. But I did stay on the phone for 2 hours with a girl who was suicidal. I did get the people there to help the girl who was having a seizure. I've probably saved more lives than I'm willing to admit. And I'm pretty sure that that's true for all of us. It's really easy to look and say, oh, I've saved 2 people. I did CPR twice. I have 2 of the little pins on my shirt that say I did it twice. I delivered a baby. There we go. I've saved 3. But how many lives have you really saved? How many people wouldn't have gotten help if you weren't there to answer the phone? How many officers wouldn't have gotten backup if you weren't on that radio to know where they were, what they were doing, how many to send, where they were going? How many bad things would happen if you weren't there. The number of lives you've probably saved is countless. Don't you think it's worth saving your own? Whether it's by losing the weight and getting or helping with the heart issues and stress issues and everything that comes from being burned out. Because if you're burned out and you're still going and you're still going and you're still going, your body can only do it for so long. Or you walk away from the job with your middle fingers held high, and there is one less person to answer that phone. There is one less person to answer that radio. There is one less person with the institutional knowledge that you have that could make that huge life-changing difference. So when you're burned out and you're exhausted and you just can't keep going, I want you to stop and ask yourself, how many lives have you saved? And don't you think it's worth putting in a little bit of effort to save your own? That's all I have, because I talked way too fast. Do you guys have questions? I hope this was fun. This was fun for me.
Damn. I'll say that right off the bat. Wow. That was excellent. That was really, really good. There are no questions in the actual Q&A section, but the responses from everyone, like if you have a moment that you can go and look in the in the comments. Wow. Are you able to see the comments there?
Yeah, like this is terrifying.
Why is it terrifying?
I've only actually ever done this once before, and it was for our state conference in 2020. I threw it together pretty quick because we had to go online. So,
well done. Like I don't even know where to start. Like there's so much from everything that you said that just really made me think about when I was still in dispatch and just the way things are now, and the people are talking about this more. I mean, especially there at the end. um I don't remember who it was that I spoke to, but that was one of the things that someone had mentioned too. Like, think about the amount of people that you've helped out, that impact, those ripples, all of it. But then also, helping ourselves. Like that was perfect. All of these lives that we've helped save, whether we know it or not, isn't it worth it to help ourselves as well? Because I mean, yeah, we've got each other as a support system, but otherwise, like if you really don't have anyone to reach out to or feel that you can reach out to somebody, then all you have is you, and it's up to you to be able to do that. And actually, it looks like there's a question that came in here. So let me go ahead and read this off for you. And it says, any tricks to get out of bed in AM PM for like discipline?
oh gosh, routine. Like having I I am so incredibly data driven. Like I have my Garmin watch that used to be a Fitbit watch and all kinds of stuff before that, but I use data for tracking. Like I track my sleep, I track what I eat, I track how much I move, and then I use all of that to kind of figure out what's working for me and what's not. And it's so much easier to see patterns. So I can be like, man, I slept for 6 hours all week. 6 hours was the most that I got. Like, that's not working. Look at what's not changing. Because once you have, like, we love information. Like, dispatchers, like, I know a lot of us are like, we want to help people, but really don't we kind of just want the information? Like, we like it. We like being in the know.
Right, yeah.
And we know all the things. Like, we know how to get the thing. Like, we have the cop that comes up to us and is like, I need this. And you're like, that's fantastic. I have no idea how to do that, but I'm going to figure it out. And so it's the same kind of thing. Like when you see these patterns and you can track them, then it's so much easier to have that motivation because you can see what's working. I am one of those people that has like 6 alarms set though. Really don't ask me questions about sleep.
I've excuse me, I've done the same. Like my goal Like today, for instance, my goal today was to wake up at 6 in the morning, and my alarm went off at 6 in the morning, but I know that I'm going to lay there for a couple seconds staring at the ceiling, and
Yes.
just in case I happen to fall asleep, I have a 6:30 alarm and then a
Yes.
6:45
Yes.
because I needed to get up and get over here, but
Yeah.
whatever works, right? Whatever
Right.
works as long as you stick to it. That's the
Right.
thing.
And they say it takes something like 21 days to build a habit. So you have to do something repeatedly over and over and over again,
Mhm.
which is where like the data kind of comes in handy because then you can see that it's working and then you have that encouragement to keep going.
I love it. I love it. Let me hit this button here. So now for anybody who ends up coming back for the replay, which from the response and everything, there's going to be a lot of people coming back for the replay because this was excellent. But they'll be able to go to that question and see that spot at that exact moment. But let's see here. Yeah, look at that, girl! You nearly made me put away my rotisserie chicken lunch. Samantha says. Oh, that's funny. That is awesome. Let's see. Erica says, LOL, 5 a.m. every day, but I have dogs that won't let me. Ah, okay. So, well, there's that as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gary says, that makes sense. Thank you. I've lost my routine and the old way isn't working for me anymore. All right. Well, good. So, all of this has been excellent. And man, you were nervous for nothing. You did amazing. What are you talking
Hey,
about?
introvert problems, man. Introvert problems.
I understand. Well, I'd say I understand. I'm the opposite, but I
Yeah.
know a lot of people who are introverts, so I get it. I know exactly what you mean. But you did great. You did
Yeah.
great. This
Thank you.
was excellent information, and for everyone who is here or even watching on replay, just make sure that you jump into Discord because we can further communicate with each other. We've got the speakers that are there as well. People are jumping in and out, saying hello, and sharing further information, whether it be PowerPoints or any other materials, but also just to simply ask questions. So if anybody else wants to get a hold of you for anything else, I mean, how can people get a hold of you, whether it be here or social media somehow?
Yeah. So probably the best way is my LinkedIn, which is Ella England, like the country. Super easy.
Mhm.
I was gonna put my email address, but the number of people that like watch this thing kind of makes me a little nervous to put my email address out
Right,
there.
yeah.
But like I am a cheerleader at heart. Like I'm the woo. Like I've never been a cheerleader, not my thing. But I'm here to encourage people and help them. So if you need somebody to scream into the void, or you need somebody just to tell you how to keep going or to keep going, like please reach out to me. Like again, even if it's just to send me a message that's nothing but like a whole bunch of swear words just because you need to get it out, like I'm here.
Perfect. I might be the first one to try that last one that you said.
Absolutely. Cussing, like I have given up on teaching my kids not to cuss. I just teach them how to cuss properly.
Oh, yeah,
It doesn't
so
bother
okay,
me.
so
I've heard it all.
it's funny that you say that because my youngest, what I tell my kids sometimes is, no, you can't say that and stuff in public. People frown upon that. So what's funny though is that my youngest, I've said something and I'll say, don't repeat that, and she'll go, because people frown upon that, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, they picked that up really fast then. All right.
Yeah.
That is funny. Well, thank you
Thank
again
you.
so very much. This has been awesome, an amazing session, and we're going to be going on to the next one. The next one that's going to be coming up is Beyond 911, and excited for that one as well. There are two left of this pre-con day, which is crazy that we're getting to the last two, and then we have after the greatness where we're going to be doing a live broadcast on social media and everything to recap the day. So again, this has been excellent. And thank you all for being here. And Ella, thank you again for an awesome presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
And we will see you in the next one, everyone.